We've been getting a lot of questions about how to find texts in when one is going to create a read to write task. As we will be changing one of our writing tasks for our FLAX exams, people want to know now, well, how do you find text for these questions? And actually, that is the most challenging aspect of creating these writing tasks. Once you find a good text, writing the prompt is not that difficult at all. One of my favorite tools, so we're going to be just discussing a few tools that we can use to assist us in finding text. I happen to love Google. I don't work for Google. But really, this search bar, whether you write up here or down in the box below in the center of the page, will get you to so many places. So, for example, say I want to write something like le portable et les enfants. See, I started to do that. And I just think in the target language of what I might, this was a generic topic, but I also might want to think of a phrase that I might see in a possible text that I want. And as you see, I got a lot of results, and I can just now quickly go through and see what they look like. Just one word. If you want to do a video search with doing the same thing, you have a lot of options when you hit search tools. I like to do this. I like to put the duration as short. You can also select just the source if you only want YouTube or you only want, TF, whatever you want. But this will give you a nice way to really find videos that are short and maybe perhaps easy to use for your class. But going back to the web search, you play around with it. You could also try something like this. Le portable est-il dangereux? There it is. I see it down there. Est-il dangereux pour la santé? And you'll get a bunch of articles about that. And then you can just quickly look through them. Just think in the target language of what you might expect to see. In Spanish, let's try this. I'm not sure what we're going to get. Los celulares y let's do adolescentes maybe. Let's see what we get with that. And then again, you can look through this and see if you like it. I've gotten a lot of text this way. Sometimes in Spanish, because Spanish is so prevalent here in the United States, if I do something like el desayuno, here it is, es la comida más importante, sometimes, here I get a lot of articles. I've been successful even with an image if there's been a brochure written, like for example, here's one on 10 reasons to have a breakfast. And sometimes these are really great for our Checkpoint A kids because they're more in the line of a brochure. So that is my very first clue to you, or strategy for you to find a text, is just to use Google. Type in the target language, exactly what you might be thinking, like, school supplies are too expensive, and you'll get something maybe about like what the cost is to buy school supplies in your target language countries. There is an advanced search engine, I should point out, by hitting this gear wheel on the right, and you can query, for example, you can specify what language. Really kind of cool. You can specify if you want, like if you're looking for a PowerPoint or a PDF on something. And there is a reading level thing. I just don't use it because when I do use it, if I use basic or intermediate results, I don't get the results that I need. The basic is really too basic. You might just get some drawings. But typing in the target language to me has been very effective. Like when I'm looking for, when I need more questions for the FLAX exams, that's exactly what I do. I try to think of what's current, try to think of like, natural food products and see what comes up. So that's my first strategy. My second strategy, or really my second resource, is Twitter. I know a lot of people just get scared off of Twitter, don't like Twitter, but if you follow the right people, and you can look, if you know of Spanish teachers that are like, sometimes I find them through Pinterest. I follow people that are known to be like, let's just look and see who I'm following. Okay, Blanca Duarte is a technology person. Lori Clark is a foreign language teacher. Alice Keeler's technology. But if you go through, you may find that here's Language Classroom I follow. I will get tweets from them. But what I have really used it for is to follow like periodical newspapers like Le Monde or El País. And it's really nice if you go through my Twitter line. You will see, for example, here's all like little news articles, Actualité 24. And what I can do is you see little blurbs about what the articles are about. And what I can do is, if it looks interesting, something that I might, want to look into, I can simply click on the link, see if I want it, and then if I do, I can save the link. I can print it out. I have found many articles, like here's Le Monde, and right away, just from the little blurb, you can see if it's something of interest to you. So I've gotten a lot of texts that way. These mostly, I will say, however, most of the texts I find on this are for my IB or AP teachers, because they are a little more difficult to negotiate. Once in a while, there'd be something that I can use from my lower levels. But the other thing to do is to know what kind of hashtags to use. So for example, there is, my favorite one is hashtag LangChat. They actually meet every Thursday night on Twitter, and they'll have a question that they discuss. But they post all during the week too. Thursday nights, if you want to follow them. But they'll have a thing like ideas for getting students to speak, interpersonal tasks. And that would be the whole night. They'll be blogging or tweeting about that and sharing ideas, sharing resources. So Twitter is a great way to get ideas and to get people who recommend websites and texts. So like I said, but in terms of specifically looking for texts, like here you can see, here's the question. Here's a question on LangChat. Amy Lenore is big on Twitter. But for looking for text, I get them mostly from my feed coming from the newspapers. So that's Twitter. And if I find something good on Twitter and I open it up, I will copy the link and I will go to my Pinterest page and I will add it there. Pinterest to me for teachers is like the best thing for really finding what's going on in any kind of area of your life, whether it's personal. When my daughter was getting married, she had boards on collecting dresses that she liked, hairstyles that she liked. Mine are basically about my job. So you see my first board there is advocacy. I have one on Apple products, one for art, one for assessment, authentic resources, birthdays, I have grandchildren, blogging, books. I don't know, I just like bookstores, I don't know why. But anyway, you'll see, if you go through it, you'll see a lot of different boards, comprehensible input. That's a whole way of teaching foreign language where you're really staying in the target language and really focusing on functions of common functions, words that get used all the time, expressions that get used all the time. FLES, I have Frenchisms, where just anything to do with French. Francophonie, I have things for IB, I have German random. I'm into technology, so I have a lot of boards for technology. Actually, most of my followers are for my technology pins, Google Classroom, Chrome, and Technology for Teachers. But for foreign language, I do have all the topics like la salud, la tecnología, la technologie, languages, language learning. Let's Drink is not about drinking, it's about beverages in the foreign languages. Let's Eat is about eating in the foreign language, all different pins from the different languages. Let's Talk, speaking prompts. Anyway, I can go through all my boards. You can look through the Realia in Spanish, random vids, rubrics, school, all pins, different languages about school, Spanish random, a lot of Spanish sites. And one of my favorites that I just started, really, I think over the summer I did this board was, I think it's in on the bottom. It hasn't been alphabetized yet, but it's lesson planning. I have a board called Lesson Planning. It's just not showing up now. But that I do a lot of just ideas for your lessons. So anyway, why am I saying this? I do have a board called, if I go back up to the top, Authentic Resources. Again, they're multi-language. I just toss things in there that I find. Some of the things I've gotten, like for example, this Nutella, people calling their kids Nutella and fraise, strawberry. There's an article about that I got from Twitter. I pinned it in here so I have it. There's little videos, there's little articles, and about from all different languages, infographics, things that I believe we can use for text. So here are my big strategies for finding text. One, Google. Googling, searching in the target language with phrases in the target language, expressions that you think you would see in your text. Secondly, I follow language teachers, language orgs on Twitter, and I follow newspapers and magazines from foreign language, target language countries, and I grab articles from there. And then thirdly, and probably most importantly, is Pinterest. I create boards and I save all my articles and sites that I find on Pinterest. It's visual, easy to find, easy to organize. I follow a lot of people. I have 851 people now today following me for ideas, and it is where I get the most up-to-date information on whatever I am interested in. So I hope that these strategies help you. Sorry, I'm going to end this now. I hope this helps you. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions.